Good morning, everyone. We're back on Route 66.
As you can see, we are no longer on the open road. Today, we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. As you can see, there's quite the traffic jam on old Route 66, Central Avenue through Albuquerque. Traffic is part of the reason that the interstates had to replace old highways like 66. Last night, I drove into Albuquerque and I drove all the way across the city on Central Avenue, the most famous portion of Route 66 through town. It was long, there was tons of neon, but there was also tons of construction and tons of traffic. So instead of messing with Central Avenue today, I thought we'd walk a stone's throw away from Route 66 towards an area all those early Route 66 travelers would have visited. This is Old Town Albuquerque. I have never been down here before, so I'm pretty excited. Up till now, I've really only seen all the rundown sort of Breaking Bad parts of Albuquerque. And in all the years that I've been coming to and through this town, I've never had a chance to see this area. Now, when I say Old Town Albuquerque, I mean Old Town Albuquerque. According to this plaque, it was right here in this plaza in 1706 that Governor Don Francisco Cuerva y Valdez conducted the ceremonies to found this Spanish, at the time, town. Boy, it's really quiet out here. Kind of a nice change of pace from the highway. Check this out over here. This is San Felipe de Neri. This church was founded in 1706. Of course, what you're looking at is a more modern reconstruction because the original church collapsed after a heavy rain. Yes, this more modern version of the church was built in 1793. 1793! It's one of the oldest churches in the United States. This thing is over 200 years old. I believe it's still used as a church to this very day. That is impressive. It is very peaceful and quiet in here. Also, very beautiful. Definitely a change of pace from the things I've been seeing lately. Other parts of Albuquerque are Breaking Bad, but in here, it's all about breaking bread. Wow, I've seen a lot of buildings that are only 100 years old that are much worse looking than this. Definitely not your typical Route 66 attraction. Okay, I think that's enough. That was very beautiful, very peaceful and serene. All along Route 66 through downtown Albuquerque, there's so much construction, so much noise, so loud, so much traffic, everyone's honking at each other. And just a few minutes away in the heart of Old Town, everything is peaceful, calm. It's like a whole different world over here. Of course, just like throughout the rest of New Mexico on 66, there are a lot of these more gift shops than you can shake a stick at, and plenty of people on the side of the road with little tables selling hand-woven rugs and jewelry and handmade pottery. If you're a fan of Southwestern decor, this is the place for you. Of course, everyone knows that humans couldn't have built a church 200 years ago. That would be too difficult. No. It must have been aliens. Maybe that's why Albuquerque is such a funny word. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Founded by aliens in 1706. Man, it's so quiet and so empty down here. I keep getting a little creeped out. Wow, but here's a beautiful little spot. Whoa, look at this little marketplace here. How gorgeous is that? Also, they have some pretty radical t-shirts in there. And of course, it's not all history here. They also have Breaking Bad RV tours. Honestly, that's pretty genius. I really like this store's sense of humor. And let me introduce you to its owner, Old Fred.
Well, I done started my store in 1898, but then them pesky aliens came and abducted my eyeball. Then Texas Slim done shot off my fingers. It's harder for me to work now, but I still keep an eye on things.
That was a beautiful story.
This is all so amazing. I never had any clue that this stuff was in Albuquerque. This completely changes the way I'll look at this city forever. Ooh, check out this lady above the quesadilla grill. Somebody's getting married. Well, you'd be hard-pressed to choose a more beautiful setting for a wedding. I haven't learned all my quesinas yet, but this guy looks a lot like the guy those ladies gave me yesterday. Traveling through Navajo and Hopi territory was seriously such a joy. Easily some of the nicest, friendliest, coolest people I've ever met. I love all these little courtyards out here in Old Town Albuquerque. All I can think is that travelers coming from the East Coast back in the day on Route 66 must have really enjoyed getting some of the flavor of the Southwest. It sure is beautiful down here. And it's very interesting to see the combination of so much Native American art with so many Breaking Bad t-shirts. They are really proud of that show. I do love history, so this is
right up my alley. But I'm gonna level with you guys.
I didn't come to Old Town today just to see some old buildings or to see a beautiful 200-year-old church.
Oh, no. What I actually came for is a lot more slithery.
This is the American International Rattlesnake Museum. All those old abandoned trading posts that I saw yesterday that used to have rattlesnakes inspired me to come and see the largest collection of rattlesnakes in the world.
Oh my gosh. I am stoked.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Right away.
Would you look at the size of that rattlesnake?
Oh my gosh, I had no idea there were so many kinds of rattlesnake. Timber rattlesnake, black-tailed rattlesnake, mottled rock rattlesnake, banded rock rattlesnake. They definitely love snakes here. Look at all those reptile books. And here's letters from Rattlesnake, California, Viper, Kentucky, Rattlesnake, Montana, even a stamp from Snake Plains, Tasmania, Snake Doily, snake style sewing machine. Of course, a lot of just snakes. An albino Texas rat snake. Hey, here's a Mojave rattlesnake. Hey, snaky. And a red diamond rattlesnake. And all of these are alive. Some are shy. Some are less shy. Some of them are small. And some of them are enormous. Oh, the western diamondback rattlesnake. This guy's huge. Oh boy, look at, there's his rattle. Or maybe it's her rattle. I don't know how you tell the difference with a snake. I think this one likes me. Ugh. Look at this right here. This is a reminder that when the rattlesnake rattles at you, it's actually afraid, not angry. Look at this. These are all rattlesnakes. Wouldn't want to step on any of these. They are venomous, even the little cute ones. Look at this Arizona black rattlesnake. He is having a good time looking at those of us who are checking out the museum. I think he wants to be friends. Here's a rattlesnake from Costa Rica. And here's one from southern Mexico. And this one is from South America. This place is out of control. Oh, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Rattlesnakes, very dangerous. You go first.
Check out this guy half buried in the sand. Look at that. He's not a rattlesnake. He's a horned desert viper. These guys live in northern Africa and in the Middle East.
That is a cool looking nugget.
How sick looking is that guy? This museum totally rules. There are other things besides just snakes. For example, over here, they have a very sleepy Gila monster. This is one of only 2 venomous lizards in the world. He's very, very dangerous and very, very sleepy. Check this out, the skin of a western diamondback rattlesnake. It's so soft and pretty. Ugh. There's also a very impressive display of Hopi Katsina dolls in here. And among all the other snake paraphernalia are a couple of tortoise and this gnarly looking snapping turtle. Whoa. This one's an alligator snapping turtle. The interesting part about this guy is that he wasn't that difficult to catch. Actually, it was a snap. Please don't bite me. Somewhere in there is a black widow spider. Can't see it, but I've seen enough of those in my lifetime. And then down here's our friend, the tarantula. Ooh, snakes don't really bother me, but spiders? Spiders bother me. Oof. Ooh, there's some molted tarantula exoskeletons. That's so weird. They shed their bodies. There's a scorpion in there. I'm whatever about scorpions, as long as they're not in my sleeping bag. This thing here though, that weirds me out. Check this out. I've seen this kachina before. Usually it's called the squash head or the pumpkin head kachina. Apparently, it's also known as the rattlesnake kachina. So that's interesting. Oh, well, how about this? This rattlesnake mug, which originally came from the museum, was donated by Craig Ferguson. He used to keep it on his desk during the show. Apparently, he's a pretty big fan of the museum. See his picture back there? Weird. Actually, that's not weird at all, because now I'm a huge fan of the museum. One thing I think is really cool about the American International Rattlesnake Museum is that they have some of the gifts interspersed throughout the museum so you can grab stuff that you like and just pay for it when you leave. Personally, I think that's kind of an interesting and good idea. Oh wow, there's a whole display case about Steve Irwin. Look at that. A Steve Irwin action figure. I loved the Crocodile Hunter. Actually, Steve Irwin is the one who made me not afraid of snakes. He taught me so much. Man, this timber rattlesnake really loves to look at us. Not shy at all. Well, that's it. We've seen the whole Rattlesnake Museum, the world's largest collection of different rattlesnake species. I have to be honest with you, I had no idea there were so many. And check this out, since I went through, I got a certificate of bravery. I hope my 3rd grade class is watching. See, I told you I was brave. Now all that's left is to get a t-shirt. Looks like there's plenty in stock.
Best stop ever.
I never thought a rattlesnake museum could be so much fun, but the owner, Bob, has not only put together quite the collection of snakes, but is also one of the friendliest, most down-to-earth people that I've ever met. He was just showing me his collection of photographs in there, some of which include Christopher Lloyd and Jane Seymour and all kinds of people visiting this place, and now me and you. I've been buying a lot of things like magnets and stickers, not really because I need them, but because I want to support the businesses on Route 66. And I think when I get home, I'm gonna create some mystery boxes with all kinds of fun stuff from the travels, and maybe sell them on eBay to help support buying more stuff from more mom and pop places like this. I don't know, maybe throw in some other surprises. What do you guys think? Mystery boxes? Good idea? All right, I have seen the Rattlesnake Museum and it was amazing. You remember yesterday how I was talking about the Navajo code talkers? Well, a few minutes ago, I went over there to use the bathroom. I sadly left the camera in the car, but I just met Joe Vandiver, one of the last Navajo code talkers. I talked to him for a while. I bought this book from him, which he signed, and then I took a photo with him. And I had to wear my sunglasses because you can't tell in the picture, but my eyes were getting sweaty with respect. That's a true American hero right there, and those guys kept people like my grandpa, who was in the Pacific, safe. You never know, I might not be here if it weren't for this man. That is a pretty wild thought. I'm pretty sure nothing else I could do in Albuquerque is going to top that. So I guess it's time to hit the road again. But before I leave town completely, I better take Central Avenue, old Route 66. Hey, how about that? Look over to the right. That's the launch pad. I played shows there before, way back in the day. Anyway, I'm taking Central Avenue, which is old Route 66, into downtown Albuquerque to try to see something unusual. In addition to being the home of whatever in the world this is, downtown Albuquerque, where Central Avenue crosses 4th Street, is one of the only places where Route 66 crosses itself. Before 1937, Route 66 used to go up 4th Street. After 1937, Central Avenue. So this is the corner of Route 66 and Route 66. Look at that sign there for Central. That sign over there for 4th. 2 Route 66s. I don't think it could get much better than this, unless there were 6 Route 66s all crossing each other in 6 different places. But now we're just getting silly. Speaking of pre-1937 Route 66, that is the way that I am headed out of town. Wow, that's an impressive theater right there. Think any of those old Route 66 travelers popped in here for a movie or a show? You know, my grandmother always used to call movies shows. Let's go to the show. I love that. Not a lot of people say that anymore. Oh, check out this picture of Central Avenue back in 1946. It really doesn't look all that different. Look at that. Those people right there just stopped me on the side of the road for a fun pic. The Sometimes Mob is growing. I just had the best day I've ever had in Albuquerque, and one of the best days of this trip. But I gotta tell you, it does feel good to get out of the city again. This 4th Street drive, this is pretty cool. There's actually a lot more old school looking architecture and old shops and things on this road than I was expecting, especially given that after 1937, it wasn't Route 66 anymore. Whoa, look at this. New Mexico has all these historic markers, and here on the edge of Bernalillo, this one says this valley has been occupied for 10,000 years. The Spanish settled here in 1598. So now we're really talking about some old school history. This is all part of the old El Camino Real, the King's Highway that connected Mexico to New Mexico. And the original Route 66 came right through town. This is Pueblo territory up here, home to peoples who were here long before the Spanish arrived. It is a very, very beautiful drive out here. I'm surprised more Route 66 people don't take it. Because so far, I gotta say, I am loving what they call the Santa Fe Loop. All right, we're now entering Algodones, which is another very old town along the Pan American Highway or the National Scenic Byway or the Santa Fe Trail or Route 66. Take your pick. You can see a lot of very old, very closed businesses. Plenty of people still live out here. It's just they don't rely on the highway for their income. I can't imagine what it would be like to be from a town where your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents and your great great-great-grandparents and your great-great-great-grandparents all lived.
I come from a family of wanderers. For at least 10 generations, my family's been moving around.
We've lived all over the United States and Canada.
So I feel like North America generally is my home, not one specific place. All right, now we rejoin the interstate.
And we're gonna cruise on up I-25 towards Santa Fe. And now we've come to one massive hill. That's the way you know you're leaving the Albuquerque area and you're almost to the capital.
Can you imagine how difficult it would be to get up a mountain like that?
In a horse and buggy? Anything before the interstate.
At one time, those mountains were a terror to travelers on Route 66, and it was known as La Bajada, or the descent.
If I had a four-wheel drive vehicle, I would head out that way and show you the old switchbacks.
Who knows? Maybe I can meet someone that lives in Santa Fe who has a Jeep or something that could take us down sometime.
For now, though, considering everything we've seen today, I'd say we've done our duty.
It's time to hotel and sleep well.
Bedtime.
Slithery.